I am not a fanboy of anything, never have been, never will be. I will never defend when a company whose products I enjoy do something bad, not in media, not in gaming, never. And I'll call out any company who does something they very well know they shouldn't, especially when they're making record-breaking profits from it and firing thousands to keep those profits in their pockets like PlayStation has been doing. Luckily for me, I don't have to call out that kind of thing happening here. Hello all you wonderful gamers, VR divers, and hardware enthusiasts, and thank you for once again joining me on Weaver's Wonderful World, where I try to talk about gaming, VR, and hardware. As always, I'm your host Ginsu Weaver, and in this video, we're talking about the insane price increase of the Steam Deck. And yes, it is absolutely insane, because I don't understand how they can justify increasing the Steam Deck, a device that's 4 years old, in such a way. The 512GB OLED was $549, but is now at $789, which is a $240 increase for the mid-range storage. The 1TB was $649, but it was increased to $949, which is a $300 increase. These are insane price increases because even Sony only raised their PS5 by $100 each. I understand increasing the price. It's the RAM apocalypse because of AI and the BS data centers that corrupt corpos want to build, with them buying up as much RAM and memory as possible, leaving the people who got them the billions to do so in the dust. With Valve saying in their blog, the Steam Deck itself hasn't changed. These new prices reflect the current state of component costs and other global logistic challenges across the industry as a whole. We'll keep you updated if anything changes. But what I don't understand is, if other companies raise their prices by $50 or $100, what justification does Valve have to increase the cost of both of their Steam Decks by $240 and $300? Those other companies have the same logistical issues, so why is it that their increase is so significantly higher? I honestly couldn't tell you, because this is just mind-bogglingly ridiculous. If they had to increase the price by that much, it would have just been better to shelve the Steam Deck and not bring it back at all, because this is only going to encourage scalpers to buy up every deck when it releases and price it for even higher on eBay, screwing even more people out of their money. But let's take a look at some of the comments under the blog post. Demo Man said, "Does this come with Gaben bathwater at this price?" Cool Guy responded with, "Steam Machine is about to be $1,200 USD minimum." Engineer replied with, "Rip Valve Hardware 2026. And Asterisk put plainly, "Enjoy the AI slop while you still can." This really is making me fear for the price of the Steam Machine. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to pick it up, but that just means I'll have to put more into it than I initially wanted to. At this point, for everyone else, if the price goes over $1,000, you're better off just building your own PC and putting SteamOS on it when the Steam Machine officially releases. However, I was watching a video by NerdNest the other day, and they said something that did resonate with me.
There is one piece of information that just occurred to me. What if they raised the price of their older product, the Steam Deck, in order to keep the price of their newer product lower? Basically, what if they're going to sell the Steam Machine at a loss and try and make up for that loss by selling the Steam Deck at a much higher price? Why would they do that? So they could get wide adoption of the Steam Machine, and then they can balance things out later by bringing down the price of the Steam Deck and bringing up the price of the Steam Machine. Now, I don't have any evidence that suggests that that is true, that suggests that that's what they're doing. I'm just saying it is possible.
If they are right and Valve upped the price of the Steam Deck to recover what they lost from the Steam Machine sales, and eventually they might even those out by lowering the price of the Steam Deck and increasing the price of the Steam Machine, then it really makes me think they might be scamming the scammers who buy up all the Steam Decks and double the price to sell on eBay, because no one is going to pay almost $2,000 for a Steam Deck, or even $1,500 for that matter. Because here's the thing, it would explain why they raised prices for each by 40% when they went back in stock, and also explain why they haven't used the reservation system for the Steam Deck since its initial release. Given that the Steam Deck plays computer games, no one should be down bad for it enough to pay such an exorbitant price, especially when there are gaming laptops that are more powerful for cheaper, such as the Lenovo LOQ gaming laptop. It has a 15.6-inch HD screen and Intel Core i7-13650HX processor, 16 gigabytes of memory with an RTX 5060 and 500 512 gigabytes of storage for $776.99, making it $11 cheaper than the Steam Deck with the same storage, but giving you a more powerful way to play portably. However, take what NerdNest said with a grain of salt because it's just a theory right now, and until Valve announces the price and the release date for the Steam machine, we cannot know for sure what they will actually be. However, Brad Lynch did have something to say about this as well. Take this with a grain of salt because it was just a whisper in my ear, but back when I was told what a figure for what Valve's estimated price they'd have to set the starting price for the Steam machine, it was still higher than today's Steam Deck prices, and that was 2 months ago. Like he said in his statement and what I said about what NerdNest had to say, definitely take this with a grain of salt because it's just guessing at this point. Maybe Valve will decide taking a hit on the Steam machine now will be better than raising the price too high, or maybe they'll decide they won't and want to still try and make a profit on it. Only Valve knows what they're going to do with it right now, which in its own way sucks because it leaves us in limbo and really hurts the hype around this hardware. Valve really needs to do something and do it now. Otherwise, people who haven't already will start to fall off the bandwagon. I'm still planning on getting the Steam machine, but if the price is too high, I'd be better off building my own, which I'm still planning on doing regardless of whether I get the Steam machine or not. But it will be nice to have a Steam machine to compare that build to once finished. Needless to say, people are not happy about the price increase, considering how old the handheld is and how much they increased the price, with Pirate Nation saying Valve just raised the Steam Deck OLED prices in the US while the devices are still out of stock, and the increase is insane. A $949 Steam Deck now costs as much as a high-end gaming laptop and premium handheld PCs. Half-Life 3 on Twitter also had this to say, "Let me get this straight, the Steam Deck OLED has a new price because of the RAM, apparently. But this could be Steam machine related. Hear me out, Valve might prioritize the Steam machine so it's cheaper, but they still want to sell the Steam Deck, just not as its #1 priority." The Half-Life 3 account is kind of echoing what NerdNest was saying, but in this way, Valve is prioritizing the Steam machine for parts, including RAM and storage. That could help make the price a bit cheaper than the new prices for the Steam Deck, but I'm not sure how accurate that is since the price for RAM and storage is still high and the Steam machine is still being affected by it. I hope they are able to keep it under $1,000, otherwise the market for it will be gone fast. Now, my spirits for the Steam machine price may be dampened right now, but my enthusiasm for the Steam frame is still pretty high because I don't need the Steam machine to use the Steam frame, and I still believe the frame will be far cheaper than the Valve Index. But here's to hoping we get an announcement for both here pretty soon, because I know a lot of people are pissed off about waiting for Valve giving us the announcements because it looks like it's about to cause a riot. So that'll be it for this video. If you enjoyed this content, leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button for more gaming, VR, and hardware content. I'm 10 subs away from 1,500, so let's see if we can get there with this video. Hit the bell icon so you can always be informed of when my new videos go live, and leave a comment down below to keep the discussion going and let me know how you're feeling about what Valve is and isn't doing. Also, check out the description for links to my gaming channel and socials so you can follow there for the latest updates, gaming videos, gaming shorts, and any projects I might be working on. Well, once again, thank you for joining me on Weaver's Wonderful World, and remember, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Bacon is the best breakfast food, so eat up, stay healthy, and I'll catch you wonderful gamers, VR divers, and hardware enthusiasts in the next video. Oorah!